Hello there, welcome back to Planet Zoo. Thanks very much for joining me today. I do hope you're well. We are back here in Lunar Zoo and we're going to be building something quite big today. In our last episode we built our sea lion habitat over here, our sort of performance arena, which I think turned out really nice. I'm very happy with that. But today we're going over this side of the zoo. And I think I previewed this at the in the last episode. So this is going to be today's habitat, and it's big. It's not going to be quite what I've done before with large structures. It's certainly going to have a few structures in it, but it is going to be a largely sort of nature-based habitat. So we have our lake with our shallow area, and we have a nice hill over here. And obviously the path is already in place, so there's going to be a lot of fencing, sort of custom fencing to do all the way around it. And I'm not going to tell you what animal is going in there until it's actually put in, but it won't be long before it goes in, so don't worry, you won't have to guess for too long. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. So let me crack on and start building and have a guess, see if you can work out what I'm putting in here. Okay, you didn't have long to wait, did you? The animals are in, and they are the wonderful moose. As soon as these got put into the game, I immediately knew they had to come straight into this zoo. I mean, look at them. They're just fantastic looking creatures, aren't they? And obviously they're quite big, so they need quite a large habitat. So that is why they've got all of this space. So as you can see, I've put in obviously a temporary barrier, and I've started to do a bit of building as well. So I've built them a custom shelter at the top of the hill here. Pretty straightforward, a log roof and then sort of lots of logs and planks to make the framework. Pretty straightforward and simple. And the idea was I wanted to use the mesh along here, so I wanted this to be obviously the entrance is in here as well, but I wanted this to be quite an interactive area between the guests and the animals. So this is their main bed area basically, so you're going to be able to walk along here and watch the moose as they sleep in their bedroom over here. And obviously the rest of the walkway will be to see them out in their sort of natural environment. I elongated it along the back. I thought it'd be nice to have the pathway under shelter as well, and obviously it's caused a bit of an issue at the end here because this is the very edge of the zoo, so I'm going to have to fill this up with foliage in some way. Probably bamboo would be the most obvious choice in here, just to create a kind of a screen along the back here. And then that will continue down here as well, and obviously I'll continue the sort of the shrubs and the trees from here will continue along the back here as well. I think he's just putting another one in by the looks of it. It's another female. Yeah, I mean that's it so far. I've started just doing a little bit of paint work as well to try and make this look worn. Obviously where the moose will be running up and down. I think it'd be really cool actually in the game if you could sort of turn on an option for the terrain to get worn out by the animals walking on it themselves, if that makes sense. So if you painted basic grass but then the animals continuously use certain routes, it would get worn and turned into dirt rather than grass. So I think that might be quite a nice addition to the game. There's certainly other games that do that sort of thing, so I wouldn't have thought it'd be that hard to program in, especially where you put in the food feeders, because obviously that's where the animals gather, and so logically it would get worn down quite a lot. Yeah, I don't know, just a thought, just a thought. I often think about these little additions to the game that I'd like to see. I'm sure something like that is certainly not going to be a priority for the programmers, is it? But I think it would be quite nice. So that shelter is basically there. That's sort of done as much as it's going to be. It really wouldn't need to be anything more than that. It's just a very simple wooden structure just to give them a bit of shelter and somewhere where they can lie down on some comfortable floor. And then obviously you've got the interaction with the guests as well. So that's that. my other plan, I want to have a waterfall. So that's going to start over here and it's going to come around here and then widen and spill out into this shallow area of water here. I'm also going to do a raised platform over here, up in the air somewhere here. So this path is going to go up some steps and into a raised area here, so people can be standing up high over here and looking out over the entire area. I'm probably going to have some sort of secondary shelter area over here as well, with some more bedding. And I'm also going to do something over here, which is going to be another sort of interactive area. Not sure what I'm going to do next though, but we shall see. So let me crack on with some more and I will be right back. Right, well, I thought it was important to get the structure of the landscape in first. So I'm working on the waterfall. So using these pieces, because obviously these in-game pieces are fantastic, that's created the shape of the waterfall. And then I've just come in down here and I've used the special effect pieces here with the foam just sunk in here, and it really makes it look like the water is flowing all the way down this rock and eventually out into the water. I think it looks really nice. Obviously it's still got more decorating to do, but for a start I think that looks pretty cool. These rocks, obviously I've just sunk them all in. I've used a couple of different colours as well, just to add a bit of variation in there. You can see there's some sort of slightly browner rocks and then some greyer ones as well. So I think once that's in, once you've got some larger boulders put around the edge and then the odd one of them, so where this foam is, it looks like it's splashing on something, so you kind of need some bigger rocks in here to make it look like the water's splashing on the larger rocks. So once all that's in and then you get some foliage in as well, I think it's going to look really, really nice. And the good thing is the animals can still walk across it, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, so they've still got pathways where they can actually cross the water as well. So that's really important, because there's no point creating something like this if it's completely non-interactive and it actually blocks the animals from being able to get from one side to the other. So obviously a lot of rock work still to do, so all around this there's got to be lots of rock work to hide all of this, and then like I say, some more big boulders around the outside of this and then dotted through the middle as well. So yeah, quite a lot left to do, but I think as a basic structure I think that's coming along really, really nicely. It's once you've done this sort of thing a few times, you kind of learn the best technique of how to make water look realistic, and I think I'm getting okay at it. You know, I'm getting better every time I do it. It seems to work out a little bit better. So obviously there is some natural water in here, so I have lowered the land and actually put water in, so the water does come all the way over to here. But I have seen people do it without putting actual water in, and you just use the special effects. I think that works if it's a bit narrower, if you're creating like a little stream. I think that works pretty well. But in this case I wanted the water to be in there because of the interaction with the rocks, and I didn't want the whole thing just to be all these special effects. So yeah, that's what I've done there. Right, so let me head on and get some more of this rock work done, and I'll be back to show you the results in just a few seconds. Okay, I've got a bit carried away and I've done quite a lot of work, so let me show you. So our waterfall over here has been well decorated with an awful lot of rockery and some foliage. You got the odd fallen tree. It's one of my trademarks. I do this all the time. I just can't resist a good fallen log, and obviously some actual trees, trying to keep it looking sort of mountainous and Himalayan like. So you've got these Himalayan pines, I think these ones are birch tree, sorry, Himalayan birch. You've got the Scots pines as well, and obviously the odd sort of dead pine there as well. And then I've kept the foliage fairly green. I didn't want too much colour on here, so you've got the odd splash of white here and the odd little purple bit here and there, but the rest of it is fairly dull colours, again, sort of trying to reflect it being high up in the mountains. That was the sort of look I'm going for. And I've done what I said with the large boulders around the edge of the stream and in the middle here as well, so it looks like the water is splashing against a lot of these rocks. And obviously I've tried to keep it open so the animals can still come and go through the water. And again, just dotted bits of foliage around here and there. And I think the end result is really, really nice. I mean, it looks really picturesque, doesn't it? I think it does anyway. You let me know. You know, what do you think? Do you think it looks good? I think it looks really, really nice. I think it certainly looks nice and mountainous. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how that has turned out. Let me just show you the traversable area. Yeah, see, unfortunately, actually, yeah, the traversable area has got a little bit messed up. They can still come along the front here and onto here, but they can't get across here. So I may need to just fiddle a bit. I'd like them to at least come across here. So I may have to just put something in here to allow them to cross it. That's what happens, unfortunately, when you start putting the larger boulders in. It means that the animals can't get as close as you'd like, unfortunately. But yeah, I may have to fiddle around with that a bit. But on the whole, I'm really, really pleased with how that looks now, and it's kind of set the theme for the rest of the wild areas. So obviously these trees will continue into these other areas as well. I did a little bit of detailing out here, another nice fallen log there and a few rocks in the water. Nothing too much, didn't want it to be completely filled with stuff. Obviously I wanted the moose to be able to walk through this water quite easily. As you can see, they can. So yeah, there we go. That's the sort of the main structure now, the wild structure at least, of the habitat all done. And I think that's looking really, really nice. So I'm really pleased with that. So next up we'll be doing a bit more of probably the staff interaction areas, or the guest interaction areas. So I've still got a plan for something down in this corner here. I've got the raised area over here and probably some sort of bed area over here as well. So still quite a lot to do, plus all the custom fencing, of course, all the way along the edge. Although I'll probably leave that till the end until I've got all these other things put in place first. And obviously getting some enrichment items down too. So plenty left to do. So let me go away and crack on with some more. Okay, I just wanted to show you my idea for this this corner down here. This is going to be a meet a moose area. So it's an interactive area with, I've put one of these talking points in here. And basically it's going to be a meet and greet with the animal. So I'm going to put enrichment food items around the outside here to encourage the moose to come over here. And it's where the guests can come in and stand and really get face to face with the animals, and obviously get told about them by a member of staff as well, which I think will be really, really cool. I will build a shelter over this whole area as well. And as you can see, I've started a bit of custom fencing around the edge of this. So this will continue around the whole habitat, although obviously it will be taller than this. This is just a small bit for this particular area where they're interacting. The rest of it will be a more significant fence. But yeah, that's my plan for this corner, and I just wanted to show you that basic structure there before I do the rest of it, because it's gonna get quite this will get quite hidden, I think, underneath the shelter in a minute. And I'm going to put a nice sign up and all sorts of things like that as well. So yeah, just wanted to show you my thought process and my first step of getting this little interactive area up and running. So I'm going to continue working on this now, and hopefully I can show you next the finished product is the plan, unless I get carried away and move on to another project, but probably not. I'll probably continue with this one. So yeah, just give me a minute and I'll see what I can do. Well, as you can see, our meter moose area is working really nicely. Oh dear, that's gone a little bit haywire, hasn't it? yeah, that always seems to happen with these feeders for some reason. They get graphically they get a little bit crazy. This one seems to be doing okay. There we go, that looks better now. But it's clearly working. The animals are all coming over here. So my theory was, if I put all of the food interactive items over here, then they're not going to get them anywhere else. So they have to come over here, and that was what I've done. So all of these food enrichment items are over here, and clearly it works because all the moose are over here as well, which is fantastic. I mean, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? Getting in here and getting really up close and personal with the moose. I don't know if it's realistic, I'll be honest. I don't know if moose are particularly friendly, whether you could get this close to them, whether it would be dangerous. But as I've said before, this is a computer game, and frankly, it doesn't have to be 100% realistic. I'm really not too fussed. I just like the idea of this. So that is what I've done. So let's see what else I've done. Oh yes, you're right. I've made a meet the moose sign. Meet a moose. I mean, I couldn't resist, could I? Especially look at this. Look at this moose sign here. I mean, I could not resist using that. So yes, so we have a meet a moose, and it's got it from all directions here. So wherever you're coming from, it's quite clear. If you come along here, you're going to meet a moose. I love it. I just had so much fun with this area. I really did. As you can see, I've also made a shelter. Again, very simple design, just using logs to rotate, and then put some of these nice African logs in the middle as well, just to give it a bit of a pattern. I think that works really nicely doing that sort of thing. It is a technique that I've used before, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, really happy with that. Obviously, I've continued my foliage around the back here. So if I come over here, I have done what I said about the bamboo. So I've just put a nice strip of bamboo along here. So when you're walking along here, you just feel like you're nice and sort of enclosed, and you've got all your bamboo coming in the back here. But it completely blocks it off, so you can't see out there, which is what I wanted. And then obviously I've continued the fencing as well. So these wooden beam fencing. Or logs, I suppose, continues all the way along here, and then I've done them on both sides of the track down here, and I think they look cool. They look nice and strong and sturdy. It's exactly the sort of fence you would get with this sort of animal. So that comes all the way down here, and then I've continued the shrubs and trees again just along the border of the park here. Really simple, just keeping the technique the same, using the same variation of heights, sinking some of these things right down into the ground, having other ones standing at full height, keeping the colours mixed, that kind of thing. And it's really nice. I really like the combination of different things that I've got here, plus having these open areas at the front is quite nice as well. It's quite realistic rather than having everything completely full up. Created a small flower bed here. Obviously we'll be continuing eventually. The zoo will go off in this direction, so it creates a small triangle in here. So I've obviously put the sign in, and then just given a little sort of shrubbery in here. Again, trying not to use too many colours, just trying to keep it fairly green and bland. But that's fine. That was the intent. So yeah, so that, let me just zoom out. That is that corner kind of done now. And I'm really happy with it. I just particularly love the sign. I know it's really cheesy, these signs, but I kind of like it. So obviously the sign itself is just copied and pasted from one to the other. All I've done is change the greenery that's growing on it in each case, just so they've got a little bit of variation. Obviously the signs might be mass produced, whereas the greenery would grow differently. So each one of them does have a different variation of green stuff climbing on it. Yeah, but hey, look at that, you can meet a moose. I love it, absolutely love it. And it works so well actually, having all the food enrichment over in this corner. Clearly you can see it really encourages the moose to come over here. So yeah, this is one of the first places I would head to in this zoo if I knew about it, because this would be a great place to just stand and get really up close and personal with the moose. So yeah, really happy with that. I think that looks pretty cool. So this fencing is what I will use around the rest of the habitat as well. It will go on the inside of the path. It won't go on the outside because there'll be different buildings and things going on over this side of the path. But yes, I will eventually continue it all the way around here and over here as well. But first, I think probably next project might well be the raised platform that I'm going to do over there, I think. But who knows? Let's see what takes my fancy next. So I'm going to go away and get on with some more. Okay, so I've had a bit of fun building our raised viewing platform over here. So as you can see, I've just brought the path into the habitat here and up into this raised platform. I've continued the fencing down here and just enclosed the stairway, and then continued it around the corner here, and eventually it links into this hippo building over here. The platform itself is pretty straightforward. I've kept the design nice and simple, just using the in-game walls here and some fencing. I thought this fencing looks pretty good as an edge along the sides there. Just trimmed it off with some wooden beams as well, just to sort of hide the concrete a little bit. You can't completely hide it, but then it's obviously it's got to look strong, hasn't it? So it's quite realistic that it would have all this concrete under here. These wooden logs, I like these. I think they look really cool. I use these, I think, over in the hippo habitat as well. The idea of them is that they are obviously fake wooden trunks hidden around what would, in this case, it would probably be sort of a metal beam structure to actually hold the platform up, but just to make it look a bit nice. So you just have it decorated with these big logs, and then inside here I've just put some picnic tables down and left the rest clear so people can just stand and look out over the habitat. And you can even see over into the hippos over here as well, and who knows what I'll be doing beyond there, but they'll get a nice view of the whole area from up here. You can also look out sideways, and you can get pretty close to the animals actually here. You can look down upon them there, and you can also see them over in their bed area over there as well. So yeah, so it's a very simple structure as well. Didn't need to do anything too fancy up here. I'll decorate it a little bit more. I'll put some growth obviously around the bottom. I'll put some greenery around the bottom, and probably some sort of ivy and stuff growing on the building as well. But I'll do all of that when I get round to doing all of the greenery in the rest of the habitat. So yeah, pretty straightforward, but I think it looks good. It's functional. It looks decent. So yeah, well, it's coming along nicely actually, this. So you've got 3 structures in here so far, and I'm probably going to do something over in this corner as well. So, and the nature is looking good as well, which is the theme of this whole zoo, isn't it? Is nature and structures. And yeah, I think this one's coming along pretty nicely now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to go away and do it, and I'll be right back to show you the results. Right, well, while I was over working in this corner, I thought I might as well finish this off. So I put a keeper's hut in here because there wasn't one sort of locally to all of this stuff over here, particularly because you've got the tortoises right here, you've got the hippos here, and obviously now you've got the moose in here. So I needed a keeper hut. So I put one in, made it a fairly simple brick structure and an asphalt roof, so nothing too fancy. And then I've just decorated it, continued the all the trees and the shrubs from over here. I brought them forwards a little bit. Usually I keep the trees towards the back, but actually here I wanted to bring them forwards. I wanted this to look really nice and overgrown on this corner here. So I've got some bamboo sort of actually spreading out into the pathway a little bit here, like it's a little bit out of control. And that's because I wanted to hide the building a little bit, so as you come around these corners, you want the habitats to be the main feature of what you see. And then I want things like the backstage buildings just to blend in a little bit more. So that's why I've done that, just to hide that building a little bit. Obviously just filled in the gaps, put some flower beds in the front here and some ivy growing up the wall. And then I've continued the trees and the shrubs all along this edge here. Put this lovely ghost gum tree here. I love this white bark. I know I've said that before, but I'll say it again. I love it. So I really wanted that there. Just really, it originally wasn't there. I just had all these other trees, and then I just thought, yeah, I need one of these ghost gum trees in here because they just stand out so nicely. So I've put that in as a sort of a main feature and a main focal point of this whole backdrop here, and then just continued in and linked it in with the bamboo that's growing up along the back of the pathway there. So yeah, not a lot there. I just wanted to give you that little update. And now I will get back into the habitat, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I just wanted that finished off. I think that looks really nice all the way along the back there. Now it's all finished off nicely, and just continues the theme with all the same trees going all the way along the border there. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, liking that. So let me go away and crack on with a bit more, shall I? And here we are. We are actually finished now with this habitat. So yeah, I got a bit carried away with all the foliage, and I've basically finished the entire thing. So let me start in this corner. So this is with our raised platform over here. Really simple foliage here. Just continued the same trees, these lovely Scots pines, I think these ones are. Yeah, the Scots pines. Various little bits of nettle and stuff put around the bottom, just a few hedges here and there, some bushes, nettles, you know, nothing complicated, just keeping the same sort of theme, just dotting things around, keeping it looking wild and a bit overgrown in places. You know, the odd bramble and these lovely creosote bushes, even just little nettles like that, just, you know, just little details like that. It just makes the whole thing feel a bit more alive and wild. The odd flower as well, but not too many bits of colour really. A bit of ivy growing on the side of this building here. Got these trees around the back here. I really wanted this to sort of blend in a bit, this building. So again, just covered it in ivy on the back side here. Thinking ivy likes to grow where it's dark, so I thought this back side here would probably have a bit more ivy growing on it because it would get a bit less sunshine because of all these trees around it. That was my thinking there. Obviously while you're inside as well, when you've got trees nice and close to you like this, it really makes you feel like you're up in the trees. And oh yes, I've also put some lights in here because it was a bit dark at night time, so I did just put a few lights in there as well. Another fallen log over here. I love this sort of detailing, just really simple, but it really makes the whole sort of habitat come alive when you have little details like that. It's a very simple thing to do. Along the back here, again, just continuing the same stuff. So the same sort of bushes, bit of colour, the odd log and fallen tree. Got some enrichment items in, so I wanted one of these lovely waterfalls on the edge here. A rubber duck, of course, because what moose doesn't want to play with a rubber duck? I mean, come on. So this corner over here, oh yes, another fallen log in the water there. I love my fallen logs, I really do. In this corner, I decided not to put a building in this corner here. I just thought it was a bit too much if I did another building, because I had 3 structures in this habitat already, and I just wanted to keep an open area where the animals had a lot of space to actually roam around. But I did put some bedding in the corner here. I did also forget to mention I put some bedding over here underneath this structure as well, so they've got plenty of different places where they can sleep, which is important with this sort of animal. Obviously you need variety for the animal. You don't want to force them to have to be up here, because this is obviously quite an open area when it comes to the guests, so they might want to go somewhere a little bit more secluded. So one of these other areas might be a bit more suited to them. But also with animals like this, when you get a group like this, you will have the odd sort of argument between the animals, and sometimes they don't want to sleep in the same place, so it is good to provide them with different bed areas. It's certainly something that real zoos do, so that the animals have a choice of sleeping apart or together as well. So yeah, so that's continued the tree theme basically over here. So you've got the same Scots pines. You've got I put this big poplar in the corner here to kind of link it in with the poplars that are over here in the hippo area, just to blend the two together a bit. You've got one of these fake scratching post ones here as well, and then some more enrichment just to encourage the animals to actually come over into this area. So you've got all sorts of toys and food things for them. Actually, no, not the food things. So the food things are all over there, but you've got all the different toys and the scent markers and stuff like that over in this corner here. And then continuing along here, I've done the paintwork, like I said, on the floor. So around things like this, I've painted it so it looks like they regularly come out and play with this. And all along the edge as well, like they're sort of patrolling along the edge of the ground. It's a really simple thing, but if you just put the dirt along the edge, it just really makes it look worn and well trodden. And then the same here again. Left some areas of long grass, and then put some faded bits in where it looks like the animals are walking around a lot, certainly around the edge of the water as well. It's a simple thing, but it really brings the habitat to life, makes it look a lot more realistic as well. I never leave this sort of thing completely random. I'll always come in and do a bit of paint work just to really try and get a bit more realism into the habitat. And all the way along here again, just a few bushes, a few chopped down trees. I like the idea that all these trees were here originally. You can see there's quite a few little chopped down trees around, and that's something that they would do in a zoo to make sure that the guests can actually view the animals. So if it was too dense along here, you might not be able to see very well, so they've chopped down some of these trees to sort of clear a view into the habitat. You might also find that certain trees have been deemed dangerous or too close to where the guests are walking or whatever, and so they've chopped them down for that reason as well. Who knows? But yeah, just little details like that I think really add a lot to a habitat. And as you can see, I've continued the custom fencing here all the way along this edge and brought it into the rocks over here, and then I just detailed a little bit around this corner here, around this edge, to make this path join back in here over near the hippo viewing habitat and the clouded leopards. So again, just along here, just dotted some basic plants, made sure it was all dirt along here, no grass, and just continued the same shrubs that are inside the hippo habitat here along the outside, and a few little plants as well, just to blend all the areas together. So there we go, that is our moose habitat. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Obviously the main feature is the waterfall, and it's certainly my favourite bit of the whole thing. I can't remember if I actually fiddled with the terrain or not here. No, I didn't. So they can't cross it there, unfortunately. They do have to come around the front, which is a shame. I think maybe I could put a little bridge in, but I don't want to ruin the look of it. It certainly looks like the animals could come here and cross over, so even though they can't in the game, it certainly looks like they should be able to. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that, I'll be honest. It's one of those things. I think if I put a bridge in there of any sort, I just don't think it would look as nice, so I'm not going to do it. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine like it is. I really like the look of it, even if it's not as functional as I'd like it to be. But the rest of the habitat is. They've got plenty of space. If you have a look, they can traverse pretty much the entire thing. So yeah, it's worked out really well. First time I've done anything with the moose, obviously. They're a new animal into the game, so this is my first attempt at a moose habitat. But I think it's good. I'm very happy with how it looks. I think it looks like somewhere where the moose would live. It certainly looks like they've got plenty of space, which they would need, being big animals. And there's a bit of nice variety with the buildings as well. And this is probably my favourite bit of the whole enclosure. I think this meet a moose area. I think this would be great to just stand here and watch the moose have their breakfast or whatever, and probably actually be able to interact directly with the animals as well. I suppose you'd be able to stroke them or whatever. I don't know if that's realistic, but hey, that's what's going on in this zoo. This is an interactive zoo. I like my guests to get nice and up close and personal with the animals. I mean, let's be honest, if they wanted to, guests could just hop over and go swimming with the moose, which isn't realistic, I know, but it's a game, so I can get away with it. So yeah, there we go. I've had a lot of fun with this. This is I love doing these sort of large natural habitats, and trying to make them all look different is quite a challenge. But there's enough different foliage and rocks in the game that you can really create different sort of environments for each animal depending on what you need. So yeah, there we go. That's really cool. I've been really pleased with how that's turned out, and I think it blends in quite nicely with the rest of the zoo. It looks pretty good. I think I'm very happy with how the zoo is looking so far. obviously this is all to do with nature and buildings, and so I do feel like there's quite a large area here without buildings, any sort of structures, so I will have to do some considerable structures, I think, in this area here. I've got a few ideas for that. But my next habitat, I can tell you that I have already built my next habitat. In fact, I have done a couple of habitats already before recording this particular piece of commentary. I believe my next one is filling in this gap over here, so linking this path here with this path here, and putting in a little habitat in the corner over here as well. And it's something completely different to what's already in the zoo, and it's turned out very nicely. I'm not going to spoil the surprise and tell you what animal it is. You'll have to tune in and find out for yourself. But there we go. So that is our moose habitat. So please do let me know what you think down in the comments. Hopefully you like what I've done. If you've got any ideas or questions, please do let me know. I do like interacting with you guys. You know, without you I wouldn't make these videos. If nobody was watching them, I would eventually give up, but thankfully some of you are regularly tuning in and you seem to be enjoying my content, so I really do appreciate that. And it's lovely to hear what you think, and it's really nice for me to talk to you and get ideas. And you know, it's a really nice community, the Planet Zoo community. There's a lot of you out there that really enjoy the game, and I just hope that you enjoy and get some ideas and inspiration from what I do as well. I mean, that's the point of this sort of content creation. I don't like that term really, content. I'm doing this because I love the game, not just for the sake of making content. But you know what I mean. It's a really nice thing to do and to share it with all you lovely people out there. So thank you very much for spending some time with me today. Hopefully you can join me for the next episode as well. But until then, do take care of yourselves, and hopefully I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.